And we're back. It's Jeff and Claude and special guest Brian. I'm Jeff Johnson.
Claude Fate here.
Brian Johnson.
He's my brother.
Sorry, I'm not down. I'm to you. I'm that way, but I guess I'm down for you. Okay.
And so I tried to Brady Bunch it, but who knows how it'll actually come out.
Right.
So we're going to cover a show that's a series that's near and dear to all three of our hearts, but we'll tell you in what ways it's near and dear to our hearts. It's Terminator Dark Fate. And
is it a series now? When did it become a series?
It had a television series. I mean, if it has 6 movies, what do we want to call it? So let's go from there. Who wants to go first to describe the show, and then we'll start reviewing it?
Claude should go first.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to say that you guys are the only reason why I saw this movie. Because when this movie was coming out, I'm going to tell you the truth. I did not care for most of the Terminator sequels, aside from Terminator 2. But I am honestly, I was prepared to bring I was going to prepare to bring some Charmans and just completely crap on this movie. However, I was incredibly surprised as to how entertained I was with the movie. I will honestly say I was expecting the worst, but when they started the movie at the very beginning, and they said, oh, there was ballsy moves all over the place. Number one, they had video from Terminator 2. I said, oh, okay, so you're going to take the best movie or even second best movie out of the series, and that's going to be your jumping point? I was like, okay, we'll see how it goes. And that whole thing, the opening sequence was just opening title was good. Then it was just like, then they started the beginning with a couple recognizable things, and they put that messed up stinger in the very beginning of the movie. They started out balls out, basically saying, "Fuck you sequels, we're gonna go a different direction." And there were 2 things that came in mind. I was thinking about what they did, X-Men: Days of Future Past, when they erased the movies that they didn't want anybody else to remember. And I also, in a way, thought of, Alien 3. That opening stinger, I was like, damn, they really did this. They just took everybody, what you knew about the story, what you liked about Terminator 2, and they said, not in my house. And completely, are we gonna give away the what happened? Can we?
Yeah, well, you can't let everything out. Okay, what's the point of holding something back?
Okay, I mean, it's the beginning of the movie. You haven't seen it by now, but damn, they killed John Connor in the very beginning. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute, seriously? They killed by Arnold. And I was just like, oh. Then we come to find out later in the movie that future had completely changed or whatever. And that, but they took Sarah Connor, they took the audience and Sarah Connor from a point where we felt good at the end of Terminator 2. Yay, he saved humanity. And they said, fuck that. And completely killed old boy in the beginning. And Skynet is gone, no longer a factor. And now we have a brand new thing that's going to continue. So in essence, they just erased everything after Terminator 2. And then they said, okay, we're going to go back to for Sarah Connor, we're gonna take you back to that second movie and build something new off of it. And I just had to say it was very ballsy beginning. The rest of the movie was entertaining enough. It was enough of a roller coaster ride where I was completely engaged throughout most of it. Had trouble buying how the new artificial intelligence was able to send Arnold back to kill John, but at this point I didn't care because I'm not going to talk about time paradoxes and waste everybody's time. They got me at the beginning, ballsy beginning, kept me entertained throughout the whole thing. And I actually had to say expecting the worst. I got the movie was better than I anticipated because I thought it delivered, and that was it for me. That's not it, but I'm sorry. I know it's long-winded, but you know how I am. But that's okay.
No, that's good. Now, what's cheating is that Brian and I already started chatting about this before we came on, and we have seen all of them. I think, isn't that right, Brian? You've seen every single one.
Yes.
Yeah, it falls. The franchise kind of falls under the genre of those that we give a chance, even though, as you described, most of those other sequels didn't deserve a chance. But Brian, you want to go next? Dark Fate.
Okay, I'll go next. I mean, I was going to say I'll go last, but I'll go next. That's fine. Okay, so Claude, you gave a very interesting perspective that I didn't think of before, but I'll go off of that at first. It was entertaining, and that's all I'll say. It was entertaining. If you want to look at it strictly as, boring to the left and it kept me awake to the right. Okay, I was able to stay awake. Did it follow the storyline? No. Did it almost piss you off because it just didn't make any sense? Yes. Was it almost a waste of time other than the fact that it was entertaining? Yes, it was a waste of time other than the fact entertaining. The movie didn't seem to take its own self serious. Sarah Connor was way over the top. She was way over and beyond the expectation of how she was supposed to be. They didn't. You said they didn't follow the storyline. That's the most important. You set the guidelines in Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, and then you just toss it out the window in this version. And it's like everything we told you before. Forget all that. We're gonna make it a whole different story now. And it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me at all. So there's so many holes in the story, and even a few more that I had thought of. So the new Terminator comes in and kills John Connor at the beginning of this movie. This is a new Terminator, uncorrupted. That's the key word. This is an uncorrupted Terminator, not one that's been altered by John Connor in the future. Uncorrupted Terminator comes and kills John, and then he walks off into the sunset. So in the movie, they want you to believe that this uncorrupted Terminator goes undercover as a mole, or having a look at it. He maintains a normal human being life, but at the same time, he's sending Sarah Connor messages about future Terminators coming in so she could be there and destroy them because the Terminator, is feeling bad or guilty for killing John. Wait a minute. You're a Terminator. That's what you're programmed to do. That's all you do. That's what you do.
He's a guilterator.
Right.
He feels guilty.
So,
he's a guiltinator.
Then the part that Jeff, you and I didn't discuss, where is he getting this information from? Are you still communicating with the future in the present? Are you getting text messages? Are you getting text messages from the future telling you the coordinates of where it's sending another Terminator?
Yes.
How does he know this information?
In Mexico. Well, I'm sorry. He was in Guadalajara. She wasn't in Mexico. She was in Central America.
Guadalajara, someplace like that. I think.
Where he put a cap on the boy, and then he walked from there. And he walked his way to Mexico or Texas, because he's in Texas now. He walked to Mexico or Texas, and he walked into a domestic dispute and said, hey, I'm a Terminator, but you can't smack your wife around. So I'm going to get rid of you for smacking your wife around, and I'm going to be Captain Save Him, though. Captain Terminate Him, though.
Well, if you're trying to confuse me more than a movie, you're doing a pretty good job.
But
anyway.
Now, what was interesting, I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and he actually mentioned a scene that was in the second movie, which I think honestly that James Cameron just went back to his original movies and said, "Fuck these sequels." But what was interesting that you said that about him being, sort of like. They acknowledge the craziness of him being married to this woman. But there's a moment in Terminator 2 when they're in Mexico and Arnold picks up the little baby. It's a fat Mexican baby. He's sort of looking at it.
Yes.
And Sarah Connor is basically saying that to a certain degree, Terminator sort of like being his protector completely makes sense. It would never abandon him. It would never, he would be there forever for John, all this type of stuff. And again, and so it's pretty funny because, again, in the second movie, she's in a good place in terms of reconciling herself with this Terminator that looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then it's like, again, the first 10 minutes of the movie, it's fuck you. And then that robot killed him. But so she's brought back into a darker place. But you point out the big hole in this, which is that was Skynet's artificial intelligence that brought, the Arnold thing there. So we're supposed to believe, and that's the one. That is a big hole. We're supposed to believe that this new artificial intelligence called Legion decided we're going to kill John Connor with the same design from a future that we know nothing about. He's going to look exactly like this bodybuilder. We're going to send the same kind of person that this non-existent artificial intelligence sent to kill him. So yeah, I mean, there are buses that can be driven through the potholes, Brian. I definitely agree. But it was just so funny that I think Cameron and this people, they were like going back to the first two movies to touch on a lot of stuff because there's a lot of similarities.
Right. But like I said, you guys got to remember, keep in mind, when you think about these two movies, Terminator 2, that Terminator was corrupted by John Connor. Terminator Dark Fate was an uncorrupted Terminator. That's the difference. He was not changed, altered. His program wasn't changed by John Connor. He came, he did his mission, he killed John Connor. So why doesn't he go and shut himself down and wait for the future to come?
Turn off when he freeze.
Right, just shut down and wait for the future to come because it's supposed to be coming soon. But instead, he goes and becomes a family man. And then here was the other point that I put up. Okay, so now he's a family man. Sarah Connor shows up. Sarah Connor pulls out a gun and shoots him. He doesn't defend himself. He just stands there. Well, why? You're a Terminator. What has happened? When did you change? He's the uncorrupted Terminator, not the Terminator from Terminator 2. That's a difference. So that continues to poke holes to the whole story. And then if you want to follow the same story, this can't happen. It doesn't make any sense. So finally, I'll wrap it up. Sarah Connor looked horrible. She did a horrible job. They should have gave her makeup, but they didn't give her makeup. And the story just didn't work for me. So, if you want to look at it like Claude said, was it entertaining or not? Okay, the special effects were entertaining. But did the story coincide with us? No, so therefore they made the movie bad. That's it.
Yeah, I was going to say, Brian didn't want to hear it when I was talking to him about it earlier. But I was like, well, come on, you got to give him some props for those opening young software effects. I was just like, wow, they picked Sarah Connor's look from Terminator 2. So either they pulled old footage or they hacked the mess out of that youth software. I mean, like they blew the whole budget. They're like, how much budget we got? All right, we'll put like $100 million on the youth software on Sarah because she looked just like from Terminator 2. Not Terminator 1, Terminator 2, more, which was an awesome film, right? Where she did pull-ups, she had the Angela Bassett arms, she had the hair, she was young, none of the shots looked altered. It wasn't stupid the Justice League, let's erase the beard effect. It was better than Gemini Man, where the whole point of Gemini Man was to have young and old Will. And then, of course, Will grabs Gemini Man by his head, so both heads can be in the shot at the same time. Young, old, young, old, young, old, young. Watch, I can shake his head. Young, old. See, we paid for this. Young, old. No. So then they have Arnold, and again, it looked like almost the right age Arnold. Not even Terminator 1 Arnold, like 29 going on 30 something Arnold. And he grabs her hair. Look at us. Look at us. We blew our whole budget on this, folks. Suck it up. And then they show her get out of the truck like, wow, hard living, Cristal sipping. Woo. It's hard out there on a post-apocalyptic mama. It's hard out there, y'all. Woo. If you ever have to stop an apocalypse of a computer robot second coming, it's not going to be good on your skin. It's not. Wow.
Yeah, I heard some interview where they said they had to make a prosthetic butt for her, and I said I really didn't need to hear that.
A prosthetic butt, really?
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
That's that kind of stuff that Hollywood used to keep to themselves.
I didn't need to hear that.
Why did she borrow some of your Sherman toilet paper? That would have worked.
That's wrong. That's wrong. That they should have never let that come out. I mean,
no.
Hollywood can keep those kind of secrets to themselves. And also, what made you think that we needed a butt shot? Here we finally get a cast where it's all woman cast, and the big feminist plot twist. Is it a spoiler? Is it a spoiler, ladies and gentlemen? We do a spoiler-free show. So let's see, how can I do this without a spoiler? Right at the end, they go, ta-da! It's all about the ladies. How about that? So I won't spoil it, but there's a scene where they say, guess what? You waited the whole film, and the punchline is, it's all about the ladies. Oh, the single ladies. Oh, the single ladies. Oh. It wasn't that big of a punchline. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about, right? They waited all the way to the end, and the punchline wasn't that big. It wasn't a payoff. It wasn't worth it. They gave us 3 characters, right? They brought back Sarah Connor. To your point, Claude, they threw out the old. It was bold in the sense that he threw out all the other sequels. He told us what we already knew, that the other ones were terrible. Went back, the only one we liked, because it really was awesome, Terminator 2, when it opens with Sarah Connor doing her own pull-ups. And we're like, okay. You know, this is going to be like Aliens. Come on with it, right? Yeah. You know, Sigourney Weaver is like, okay, this ain't the 70s no more. This is a whole different kind of film. And it was. Yeah. Aliens is my favorite. You know, Alien is a totally different film. It's a horror movie. It's a classic, but Aliens is better for me. I like that genre better, and it's a better film, and I love it the most, and it's the greatest, and all the rest of those sequels also suck. Pretty much all of them. Alien Predator doesn't really count. And even if they did count, they'd also suck. We'll cover those later. But, you know, Terminator is a franchise that, you know, doing this trapped at home, as they say, as we're trying to get to the end of the internet, you know, as we're trying to get to the end of Netflix, we're on Netflix video. If you're on the Netflix countdown, you're at Netflix number 9, and there's only 8 more films to go that you haven't already binged. And you're like, whoa, but there's still Terminator. I just can't wait for it to show up on one of my streaming services I paid for so I can finally see it. And then it did show up when I finally see it, and yeah, it was underwhelming. I mean, the best thing I could say about it was, like I said, the use software. And the only reason why the use software is good is because, woof, the rest of the film, you're like, woof, can we go back to the use software? Other things, you know, are things that we accept in Terminator, how robots keep getting better no matter how unrealistic that is relative to time. So now we've got, first we had Terminator, which was an exoskeleton with flesh on it, which made the first movie, you know, semi-horror and kind of cool because his flesh started dying from the very beginning. He got shot up and he didn't put enough bandages on himself, so his flesh became start rotting rather well, and that's where you got all the Terminator one-liners. Like, hey, what you got in there, dead cat? You know, no, that was just the flesh on the skeleton rotting out. He was stanking. And then Arnold cuts his little eye hole piece out, and he doesn't know how to make it look better, so he puts on sunglasses. Well, in this film, we have him look at sunglasses. He puts them on and puts them back down. Undramatic and unfunny. The whole movie is full of undramatic and unfunny. Terminator is supposed to have one-liners. No one-liners. No memorable one-liners. Not a single one. So what we're trying to do now is we're supposed to have a kinder, gentler, cute, funny Arnold that's supposed to ride the thing. I've already chatted with Brad about this. I'm a firm believer in separating the art from the artist. I do. I believe in, I still play Milli Vanilli albums, and I don't care what anybody says. I thought they were good enough pop music at the time. I'm not throwing them away just because we found out that they didn't actually sing them. I'm not. I can't fake it. I can't say.
Oh, wait. You're contradicting yourself now.
No, I'm art from the artist. I'm not contradicting myself.
We had a discussion about Mel Gibson,
No,
and we also had a
there.
discussion.
I'm gonna go there. I said I tried.
Okay.
I tried to
Okay.
separate the art from the artist. And I'm trying to tell you, I don't love Arnold like I used to love Arnold. But I try to separate the art from the artist. But it's hard. It's hard out there on a movie reviewer.
No.
It's hard to watch Arnold. He got with the Hispanic lady and raised the kid.
But things. You know what though? I would love to have been a fly in that house when the sun started coming around. Like when she brought the son there and going to the swimming pool, and then probably, you can see the little Mexican saying, "Oh, this is what's the name. Could you give me a towel? I need a towel now." and she must have been like, because he looks just like him. Joseph looks just like old boy. That had to have been some. That would have been some shit. I'm sorry.
But there wasn't much for the rest of this film. Yes, it had action sequences, but we're getting a lot of action sequences. We've reviewed lots of Netflix originals that have better action, or as good, but certainly better. So it had action sequences, but they were notably not the highest of the high end, and yet for a film that that they want to purport to be Cameron. Well, I mean, if it's Cameron, it's supposed to be some kind of escalation race here, right? We're just supposed to keep going, 300 million and 400 million and 500 million. Keep going up and up and up and up.
He produced it, and he basically just got Sarah Connor back. I mean,
correct.
And in terms of the story, it was like fuck you to the sequels.
That was his contribution. His contribution was to get Sarah to come back, because Arnold was going to come back, because that's he's determined. He believes that he's the only game in town and that they can't do it without him. And just because the films were bad without him doesn't mean that they're not going to be bad with him. They gave us a new, different Terminator, but again, the whole idea of how the technology keeps advancing, but yet it's similar and the same. Terminator 2 gave us a silver liquid guy, because that was the special effect of the day. Let's just be clear. Cameron had gotten a liquid effect. He used it in the underwater film of his choice, where it was see-through liquid. Now we had reflective liquid.
But he integrated it in the story too, because
he did integrate it into the story, even though it was BS.
In the robotics factory. The second movie, he gets smelted in that iron ore.
Correct. They integrated the story about how we're going to make them demise. It was always always BS at how much advanced these technologies were, that they weren't incremental. When we went to Terminator 3, they gave us a woman who was robot with the liquid on top. Well, I mean, I already had 100% liquid. I don't need no liquid on top. Keep it. Keep that to yourself. And so now what we get is black liquid, carbon, nanites or something. And the whole build the body can flow, the liquid can flow into building the body. Hooray. Yay. One yay. Not 2 hours worth of yay, it's just one yay. And then he can separate himself into two robots. Well, if you can separate yourself into two robots, well, now you got a friend. Go gang up on him. You got a partner. Why would you ever go back into one? You got Liquid Dude from movie number 2, and you got Skeleton Dude from getting all your skin ripped off of you. Mm-hmm. And as it is, they already showed us the future where the chick came from, and it was still just marching around with the skeletons. The future war robots, they don't even try to have skin, because they're like, we're just here to kill y'all. We're not infiltrators. We're just butt kickers. And they weren't black carbon either, by the way. I think they were just determined to show us this cool-looking black metal with no brain, because that's freaky. Have the head scooped out. And then, like I said, he could separate himself and be two independently acting Terminators. Well, then why would you pair up? The two of y'all go hang out together. Hey, man, want to go for drinks? Sure. Skeleto. Come on. Liquidy. You know, team up, gang up on them, stay separate the whole time. But that was their big reveal that could separate into two parts. Hooray! Maybe that's a spoiler because they didn't put that in the trailer, and maybe they were counting on that to be the biggest thing in the film. But when it came
no, that's not true. That's not true. That was, if you check out, that wasn't the trailers.
Okay, good.
When Grace threw the rebar at him inside the big bulldozer truck, and he came through the rebar onto the hood of the truck.
Yeah, he poured himself across the rebar and got up there. Yeah, so they already gave it away, so there really wasn't any surprises.
Yeah.
And then when they killed him, ultimately by somehow cramming him on the inside of a generator or whatever, then they just killed off the liquid part. They're like, I used to be liquid and skeleton. Screw it. The liquid part got burnt up, but the skeleton's still good.
Yeah,
That it? That's unceremonious. We were liking the liquid guy. You hurt my feelings. And he was Latino. So, you know, it's like, so it's a film like you just have to take the pluses and see how much they add up to. And what they add up to is about a C-, but add up all the pluses. Pluses. It's all ladies, all the single ladies. It's an all-woman show. It opens up and it's all Hispanic. The whole opening's in Spanish. If you speak Spanish, yes. Whole lot of subtitle reading because the whole opening is in Central America and Mexico, and they speak Spanish the whole time. But then they make up an excuse. They have to prove to you that our star's brother wants to be a YouTube superstar, and so she reminds them, well, you got to work on your English, and so they practice English. That way, the rest of the film can be in English without having to explain themselves. There was no reason that they were in Mexico City speaking English.
The more you talk, and the more you explain, the worse I feel about this movie. We should have just stopped right with Claude and left it like that. The end.
and then they had the nerve to kind of end like they were going to proceed, like they could do more films. And can they do more films?
They can.
They may try. Now they have another Spanish market.
You still have a time machine. Sure, you can do more films.
Should they do more films?
No.
Should they do more films?
No.
I mean, yeah, no. I personally, I'm not going to be there. But then I didn't think I was going to watch this movie either. So you know, but I mean, they have, But the thing is, if it did well internationally, then they would have a platform in which to give this girl, or make her the new, the new John Connor.
Correct.
And
they leave her with Sarah. They basically leave her with Sarah as the sidekick and launch the new hero.
Yeah, so she reclaims her motherhood back and all that stuff.
And they step a whole new world for it. So in closing, let's wrap up with what our recommendations for folks on Terminator Dark Fate. Claude?
All right. Overall, again, I thought not by any means, like a great movie, but hey, you know what? Ballsy beginning, big holes. Cameron should open a bus line to cover up all the holes he had in the story. But overall, entertaining popcorn movie, and it can't. I liked it like when I saw Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. I had the lowest amount of expectations, and then they put it. It was actually pretty funny because the expectations were low. So I had to say this was again ballsy beginning, entertaining.
Gotcha. So I'll go next.
Not worth any time paradox arguments or nothing like that.
Yeah.
I'll say Brian big ass holes in the story. Big.
Yeah. I'll say that one day this will be like a lot of the other Terminator movies. It'll qualify as what I call the TNT TBS heavy rotation. Will you watch it while you're making a pizza movie? Yes, it'll come on. You're in the kitchen. The TV's on. It's a marathon where they're going to play it over and over again for the next 24 hours, and you could watch a few minutes of it. And when it comes on. That's the rating. I'm so glad that I didn't spend box office money on it. I'm so glad that I didn't even try to pay to rent it, that I waited for it to show up on existing streaming service. I can't say again that it was satisfying for I really was looking for. I was like, give me one of my franchises. I miss my franchises. You know, I want my James Bond franchise. Are all James Bond movies equal? No. Will I see every James Bond movie? Yes. And so I was looking for a franchise to be satisfying. It wasn't satisfying. Brian?
Well, I don't know. I didn't hear anybody give any stars or whatever, but I rank it and give it a low rating. It was poor. For lack of any better word, it was poor. It was weak, and you know, remotely entertaining using some of Claude's words, but it was still weak. It was still poor because you can't take away for the fact. What is the number one reason why you went to go see it? And that was because I expected it to be a continuation of the story, and it was not. Therefore, as Yoda would say, that's why you fail. So, you know, 4 star out of 4 stars, I'd give it maybe 1.5 because it was remotely entertaining, and that's it. That's all. That's all I can say.
All right. That's all for this show. I'm Jeff Johnson.
All right, Claude Fate here.
And Brian Johnson.
We'll talk to you.